You've been listening to the Voices of Faith Transforming the Community with the Saginaw African American Pastors on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on this show by the host, its guests, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, Connoisseur Media, or its advertisers.
Good afternoon and welcome to Voices of Faith Transforming the Community. This is the program Sunday afternoons that we come to you through the facilities of this wonderful station, KISS 107.1, and at the behest of the Saginaw African American Pastors and the group that's formed in Saginaw. The Saginaw African American Pastors in the greater Saginaw County region as a Christian faith group. We're dedicated to racial, social, and economic justice at all levels in the community, and we operate with faith, strength, and boldness in order to help ensure that racial equity is the experience of all citizens in Saginaw County. SAP engages, SAP advocates, and SAP collaborates. Saginaw African American pastors, we engage in intentional conversations with leaders and decision makers at every level so that we can help to address critical issues in the community. We advocate for systemic changes that eliminate the biases and prejudices toward the individuals in the Black community in every sector of our community, whether it be policing, employment, banking, and even housing. And we also collaborate with community organizations to deal with the issues and by taking concrete steps toward racial equity. And that's our purpose. That's our desire. My name is Hurley Coleman, Bishop Hurley J. Coleman Jr., and I'm the senior pastor at World Outreach Campus Church here in Saginaw. And I'm serving as the president of Saginaw African American Pastors. And you're going to hear me refer to Saginaw African American Pastors as SAP. You've probably seen our logo. You've probably seen us involved. The group has been in place for a number of years now, and we're very actively involved and engaged, not only with our own events, but in other events that happen throughout the community. Today, we have a wonderful guest. We're going to have an opportunity to talk to an individual that I have known all of his life. I'm proud today to be able to introduce to you Mr. Hurley J. Coleman III. He's the executive director for Saginaw County Community Action Agency, and he is a pastor as well. He is the assistant pastor at World Outreach Campus. Pastor Hurley, Mr. Hurley Coleman, CEO Hurley Coleman, Executive Director Hurley Coleman. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Bishop. It's a pleasure to be on this platform with you.
I'm excited because we have an opportunity to just engage from a level that I didn't see coming many years ago. I didn't. This year will be the 25th year of my serving as the pastor at World Outreach Campus after my father passed away and your grandfather passed away, and we moved back to Saginaw. So for 25 years, we've been serving in this community and not ever having an idea that someday you and I, the two generations of Hurley, and there's another generation that's following, that will we be active in our community, and you will be serving in one of the leading institutional entities within our community.
It's a pleasure. I think about that often, and just the fact that I'm in this role at this period of time, serving like I am. It's sometimes it's hard to believe, but grateful that I'm in this seat to help so many people.
I was in a conversation with some persons who are in leadership roles in the realm of politics and engagement throughout the state. Earlier this morning, I was in a meeting with them, and they were talking about the time that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
And what people should know is that the agency that you are executive director of is one of the premier agencies throughout the country that was created after the civil rights movement. The civil rights legislation was passed to serve the urban communities, serve our community. Is that right?
That's exactly right. It was 1964 when it all went down. President Lyndon Johnson was handed the keys after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And what he was trying to roll out, he could not accomplish. But it was under the leadership of Lyndon Johnson that he said he was going to ensure that the legacy of John F. Kennedy would live on through the legislations that he would make his own in small rooms, conversations with the NAACP and Martin Luther King, and we know Jesse Jackson is going on to be with the Lord. But even he was involved in these conversations to try to galvanize support for the people and to allow the people to make its own decisions and what it needs. And community action was one of the pieces of legislation that was signed in 1964 with the Economic Opportunity Act that allowed regular citizens to receive federal funds to administer to their own communities.
That was amazing. It was a federally funded program that happened throughout the country. How many communities have a or how many areas in the country have a community action agency? It's a countywide agency, right?
Yes. And so every state in every territory that belongs to the United States has a community action agency under its watch. So there's some agencies that have one county, like us, that we serve one county, and then you have other community action agencies that have multiple counties where they have 3 to 5 to even 12 counties within their reach. And there's 27 in the state of Michigan. There's over 1,200 community action agencies in the nation, even including Puerto Rico and Guam and Alaska.
So wherever the footprint of the United States is, the civil rights legislation of 1964 helped to create the community action agencies for the sole purpose of funneling federal funds down to the grassroots level where they could serve and speak directly to needs on the ground.
That's right. And I know this is a Saginaw African American pastors, and I have to pay homage to even Billy Graham. Billy Graham had a lot to do with making sure that our rural communities were reached too. So Billy Graham and Martin Luther King would be in these rooms with leadership, and they would talk about the needs of the urban community and then talk about the needs of the rural community, and together they were able to match those funds together. So community action served both rural and urban spaces.
And both of those terms, rural and urban, and that they not only address the geographic area, but they also address a demographic segment of the population.
That's right.
Which is in today's dynamic, it would probably be the Alice population,
That's
where
right.
their resources are limited and they're working poor or working management in life, and they're just at that sometimes on the verge of poverty, on the verge of needing assistance, but still working and struggling through.
Right.
And community action agencies serve what kind of programs?
So some of the work that we do is prevalent around the areas of housing. Many community action agencies are responsible for administering Head Start. In our county, we have Saginaw ISD that administers Head Start.
At one time, it
But
was.
at one time, it was historically it was birthed through our community action agency back in the 70s.
In the 70s, Head Start throughout the country was initiated through community action agencies.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So you have housing, youth programming, some workforce development, some community action agencies have transportation, like PACE, or transportation services, like we have STARS. Some community action agencies have transportation under their belt. And then you have your emergency assistance, like specific assistance, where we do utility payments, bill payments, mortgage payments, property tax assistance. We have senior outreach care programs where a senior citizen who needs help, who needs a go-between, someone to understand what's happening within their life. There's outreach case managers that work with our senior population if they have needs. So food assistance, we have one of the most historic food assistance programs in the county where we provide food. Those programs have been in existence and continue to do the work that they're doing today.
So if the legislation was passed in 1964, actually, how long has Saginaw County's Community Action Center been in operation?
We are celebrating 61 years come September. We turned 60 in September in 2025, and we were birthed in 1965, a year after the legislation was passed.
So this will be the 61st anniversary.
That's right.
And part of what you're doing in this anniversary year is that you're doing fundraising, you're doing exposure, you're doing development and outreach.
Yeah.
And what are the plans for Community Action Saginaw County Community CAC for 2026?
So we're celebrating. Thank you, Bishop, for bringing that up. We are excited to be able to launch our campaign. And a lot of times people think that community action agencies are there to give and get to give out funds. But in light of what we received or what happened with the legislation that passed and executive orders that passed, we were days away from many community action agencies across the country being closed. And when we went to our national conference, they told us, you all need to make sure that you are talking about the importance of a community action agency and then asking the community, are they investing in it? Because if funding stops, who's going to take care of our most vulnerable population? So we've been intentionally talking about fundraising. We have a fundraising website available on our webpage. We're going to be having many events this year, including a 60th anniversary banquet that will take place on May 16th at the Horizons Conference Center. Those tickets will be available, and our donation campaign page is going to go live in a few days. So I'm excited about that. Again, it's just so much happening within Walk for Warmth, and there's so much golf outings. So there are going to be multiple opportunities for our community to find ways to help.
How much
out.
money do you need to raise this year to help balance out what was lost from the federal funds and what the deficiencies is? Because over the years, things have changed with program outreach and the funding for CAC that came from the federal government has diminished.
Yeah.
So now, how much money would you like to raise? $250,000, $250,000, $300,000?
I would love to raise $250,000. $250,000 would be just a beautiful way for us to set ourselves up for the future.
And I think that this program, and for those of you who are listening, if you're looking for some place where you can make an investment that would impact the community, that would be solid investment, that would produce a great result, and you know that we're going to a good place. The CAC in its 61st year has a storied history of being engaged. And many people don't know that Saginaw African American Arts Festival came out of CAC. Right. It was a CAC originated program, and so many other entities.
That's right.
So this is a good time to encourage people to find, if they want to find out more about the fundraising at CAC, how do they find out? Can they contact you?
They can contact me directly. I'd love to get them involved and engaged in our work. I'll make sure that my email address is available. They can find me on the website, www.saginawcac.org, and there will be multiple places where our celebration links can be found. Also on our Facebook page too. So I'll be sure to contact anybody who would like to know how they can be involved and engaged in this work.
There's going to be a couple of events that you're going to be doing for the first time this year. And one of them is a golf program. Can you take a few minutes before we go to break to talk about that? And then we're going to talk about this incredible study that you guys just engaged in.
So we're launching right now registration for a brand new program. And I'll take a moment to honor the life and legacy of Naisha Clark Young. This funding package that we received is because of the work that she did with our Healthy Community Zones grant. And because of that, we have been able to infiltrate and put money into our parks and money into health and fitness and money into a program to train our young people on the game of golf. It's called Hook a Kid on Golf. Registration is open through March 31st, and we're looking forward to starting the program in April.
What's the program going to do?
So we're going to actually teach kids the fundamentals of the game of golf. We're going to teach them and expose them to the game itself. We're going to be turning our agency arena space into an actual practice facility. We've purchased a golf clubs for the kids. We've purchased mats and training devices, and we've got a simulator where we can get people in and learn the game, and where they can hit balls and actually learn the game, and then teaching them etiquette and then the disciplines and the leadership skills and all of the life skills that go with the game of golf. We're going to teach them that too.
That's so cool. And Saginaw will have its own Hook a Kid on Golf program originating right out of CAC in Saginaw. And that means any kid, they don't have to have any previous experience. Nobody in the family has to, but they have to communicate with the CAC office in
Right.
order to get registered, right?
That's right. And
Is there a cost to it?
there's no cost. And gratefully, this is grant funded, and so this pilot program has already been covered, and so there's not a cost for it. It's going to be a 6-week program, and they will be given all the things needed to go through the program, as well as some ways for them to maybe possibly buy themselves some clubs at the end of this. But we're looking forward to them at least learning the games, enjoying the game, and hopefully falling in love with the game.
I know that you have had your own personal experience with
Yeah.
golf, and in my previous one of my previous roles, I was working as a Parks and Recreation Director in Wayne County, and actually had an opportunity to build a golf course
Yes, you
and to
did.
restore golf courses, and we had good experiences. We want to connect with this program in the Detroit area called Midnight Golf. It has done so many things, and hundreds and hundreds of young people went through that program, and now wound up having an opportunity to go to college. And so there's great potential in this program, and we're going to look forward to engaging in it. I know we've got some more things to talk about, and we're going to be getting to that in as we go forward. Just one more time, they got the fundraising going for the 61st anniversary of CAC. There's going to be a banquet in May,
Yeah.
and people can buy tickets. They
Right.
can buy tables. They can buy ads for the souvenir book. And if you've ever had any experience, if you've ever had any interaction with CAC, if there's ever been a project that's been done in your house, or you've ever had a job through it, this is a good time for you to connect back with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the time to do it. And for those who want to help and reach out, even coming up on Saturday, March 7th, we got our walk for warrant. So this is going to help families who don't qualify for services be able to put some funding in our accounts to help them with their utility bills.
Walk for one. It's like a walkathon.
Yep, it's
You
like a
walk
walkathon.
and raise money.
That's right.
Where are you going to be walking?
We're going to be walking at Fashion Square Mall. We're going to start at 9 a.m. inside the mall.
On March
And
7th.
on March 7th, Saturday, March 7th, there'll be registration. You'll have some refreshments. There'll be some great music, some even a couple of giveaways. And thankful for our sponsors for Covenant Healthcare, as well as for Pepsi, a bottling group, and for Garber Automotive for helping us to make this happen.
Mr. Coleman, you got a lot of good stuff going on at CAC. It's a forward facing community service agency, and it's one of the institutional
That's right.
entities in our community. And you're serving a very, very important population in our community. I'm excited to hear all the things that Saginaw Community Action Agency is doing, the programs that you have, the celebration that you have, the depth of your community reach, because you're also involved in neighborhood associations. You got a lot of efforts going at Vets Park. I mean, there's a lot of things. So, and then the golf program, that's just exciting. So we're going to get ready to go to a break. And but before we go to the break, just any other things that you want to mention about activities and programs and fundraisers?
Well, I would say this: if there is ever a time to think about CAC, it's right now.
The need is great.
The need is great, and I'm intentionally putting ourselves out there to say, if we have been had an impact on your life and your family's life, it's time. It's time. We need your help.
Come on back to CAC and show your support for it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to the executive director of the Saginaw County Community Action Agency. It is a storied, long-term entity within the greater Saginaw area region, serves the entire county. So every community in Saginaw County can feel the impact of it and has felt the impact of it. And our own Mr. Hurley J. Coleman III is the executive director. And we're going to be talking about, because the next segment that we have, you all got to listen to closely to the next segment, because what they've just done at CAC is so powerful with regard to giving us a good insight of just where things really are in our community. You got to be, if you're involved in a community serving agency, a nonprofit, Divine Nine, or churches, or any group that wants to serve people, you got to stay tuned, because this next segment is going to show you what CAC has discovered in their efforts to prepare us for the next thing. So we're going to come back in just a few minutes. So hang on, share this with somebody, call somebody, let them know that Saginaw African American Pastors is on the air right now. And we are back. This is Bishop Hurley J. Coleman. I am serving as the president of Saginaw African American Pastors Group. I'm excited to be working with an energetic group of pastors. We have been able to stay together and keep working toward serving the community, transforming faith transforming and through transforming lives through faith in this community. And this region-wide Great Lakes Bay group of Saginaw African American pastors is involved and engaged in so many different levels. And if you're listening to this program or watching this program online or whatever, and you're a member of a church that has a pastor that's serving a primarily African American congregation, you're part of what we're doing. We're part of what we're about. We want to affect things. We want to impact things, and it's amazing to me the kind of calls that I get as I serve to represent the efforts, and it's important for us to be engaged. So I'm going to ask all the pastors to make sure you stay connected. There's a couple of things coming up in the near future. We're excited about being able to be involved in the process of voter education and voter engagement, civic engagement. We're going to be doing some things, and keep your eyes open for Saginaw African American pastors as we go forward. And I'm thankful to all of the pastors who are so heavily involved. My predecessor, Pastor Craig Tatum, who was the first president of Saginaw African American Pastors. And it's just amazing to see it, and those other officers. Today, I'm sitting with another young man who we're all so proud of. His name is Hurley J. Coleman III. He is the executive director of one of the historic institutions, community serving institutions in the greater Saginaw County, the Community Action Agency. And I'm just going to ask him to just talk, because the other night I was at the CAC headquarters when there was a presentation of a study that was done just recently. And I understand, Mr. Coleman, that you and the CAC agencies are throughout the country on a periodic basis do needs assessments. And that's what this was. Am I right?
Absolutely. Every 3 years, every community action agency that serves its counties, whether it's a single point agency or multiple point agency, is responsible for administering a needs assessment for the area that they serve every 3 years. And we started ours in 2025.
And why do you do these needs assessments?
Good question, Bishop. The reason why we do these assessments is so that we can monitor the status of what's happening in that community. We need to know what the economic variations are. We need to know on the grassroots level what's happening with the economy, what's happening with people. And then we allow that data, both quantitative and qualitative data, to determine what we need to do.
So your program outreach and your program delivery service is not just based on happenstance, but you actually have researched the community on a consistent basis. Can you look at that information and tell what changes are happening, what the things are happening to the community that cause you to have concern or even celebration?
Absolutely. For example, our 2022 needs assessment, we really was able to see what happened with the pandemic and how the pandemic literally altered the shape of our country and the shape of our county. The things that our constituents needed changed. And as we go into 2025 study, we see that those variations are just exacerbated from the time that we had the second needs assessment back in 2022. So we can monitor all things moving from political decisions made from the White House or from Congress, even to what the county commissioners or city council decides within municipalities. Those legislations or those moves make moves, and they determine what happens in the day-to-day movements of people.
What constitutes a needs assessment? How do you do it?
So how
did it happen this year?
How does it happen? So we took a collection of groups, focus groups, multiple different focus groups, from our Hispanic population to our community stakeholders, which are community-based organizations, those leaders that lead those organizations, and their key staff that work in those organizations. We had elected officials. We also had our staff. We had pastors, like the Saginaw African American Pastors Association. They provided perspective. And we had also students from Saginaw Valley. And we had about 300 or more surveys that took place across the county.
So in the community, you survey community residents and community focus groups.
Yeah.
And in the survey information provided, what are some of the things that you learned? I was overwhelmed personally, but I'd like you to talk to this audience about what you learned from that study.
Well, what we learned from the study was, out of all of the things that people talked about, there were 5 prevalent areas that had popped up the most. And we were able to take those needs, correlate them from top to bottom, and classify them from top 5 needs. So we got them down to top 5 needs. And number 1, the first need in our county was safe and affordable housing. People
safe and affordable
housing. People, they desire safe housing, and safe housing correlates with public safety. And public safety correlates with our crime rates, and it also correlates with neighborhood traffic, and also correlates with needs such as food, or such as security, or schools. And the affordable piece is how much people are paying per month for their rents or their mortgages. The second need was emergency services or assistance. And with that, one of the craziest things that we found out about this was Shirley Folco, who works for 211. And 211, if you don't know, if you dial 211, a resident can get immediate help or response from emergency they may have in their own home or their own life. She read something, and she said, and we put this in the quote in the study, so you can find that on our webpage. But her quote to us that was very fascinating was that the analysis of 211 Northeast Michigan data shows that Saginaw County consistently records the highest volumes of contacts and unmet needs for utility and housing payment assistance across the 23 county service area.
Wait a minute. You said that the 211 emergency call system recognized that Saginaw County has the highest need for emergency assistance for
utility and housing payments
in a 23
county radius.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And it's fascinating because she goes on to say that there's a critical gap between the demand and available resources, which is very true. And in our study, and on the night when we talked at our needs assessment review, I revealed that many of our service agencies, such as DHS, United Way, Saginaw County CAC, Salvation Army, True North, Partnership Network, many of these organizations that receive funds for emergency assistance, we have all increased our budgets to accommodate the many of people that we try to serve, and we can't even get all of them.
And you increase your budget by virtue of resources that come from where?
And these resources from our budgets come directly from our community service block grant. And we had to eliminate certain programs or decrease some service programs to increase the needs for the emergency assistance program.
You're telling me that your funds are limited. The funds that come through there are limited. So you have to prioritize where you spend money based on the need. And that's what this needs survey said.
Yes.
So if people call you up and say, I need help for my utility bills, and you tell them, okay, come, we can help you now. Or else you tell them we don't have any funds.
We don't have any funds. And it's happened where we have so many people that we can get to, and when we can't get to them, it's unfortunate because we can't help everybody. Last summer we had an issue where Department of Health and Human Services, My Bridges accounts people were getting those applications in, and they sent out a notice that they had run out of funding in 2024. In 2025, they ran out of funding, and also this year they made a rule that they were going to put a cap on how much they can help a person, just so that they can ensure that there was enough money.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So those are the first 2. What's the rest of them?
So if we look at the rest of the list, we've talked about safe and affordable housing. When we get to number 2, we talk about that one being emergency services. And then when you get to the other one, we get to food. Now,
Wait a minute. You're
yeah,
saying that food is separate from emergency services?
absolutely, it's separate. It's its own problem. Food is considered another priority, another health priority. One where 62% of our students in our county qualify for free and reduced lunch
Throughout the entire county. 62% of the students throughout the entire county of Saginaw, not just the city,
but the entire county
qualify for
free or reduced lunch. And because of that, we know that if we qualify, then there should be enough fresh meats, fresh produce, fresh opportunities for our children to have what they need in their households. But there's not a good availability within 1 mile radius of enough grocery stores within our region.
That sounds like you're describing what a food desert is.
Absolutely. It's a food desert, and we have one. It's something that we have to ask questions. Why have so many grocery store chains moved out of our area? And what is the plan to get them back? Or what are we going to do to put things in place so that all of us can be served?
So the conversation you're having is not just about the food itself, but it's about the cost for healthcare and healthy living and healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that also connects with housing, and that
Absolutely.
connects with, oh man.
And when you get to number 4, then the fourth need is job opportunities with livable wages. And see, we talk about this. There's a lot of jobs out there. People can go to a McDonald's, they can go to Burger King, they can even go and apply at a temp job place. But are we creating enough jobs where people can have a livable wage, where they can pay for and have enough money for their child care, enough money for groceries, or those things that are not covered from SNAP benefits, those things that like children's trips and things that they need for school? We need jobs with livable wages.
See, now that's where people who when you hear somebody say the Alice population, that's the group of people that this is about. Asset limited, income constrained, but employed. They're working, but their income does not match their need.
Right.
And then the assets that they have don't match the enough support for them to go beyond that. So you got the working poor, you got the working, they're right on the fringe of needing full services.
Correct. And one of the things that we talked about that really is noticeable is that there are people in our county that have some education. We don't talk about it a lot, but the stats show that 23%, Bishop, of our residents in our county have some form of college. But in that stat is higher than the state and the national average.
Okay, let's talk slow right there.
Yeah.
You're telling me that in Saginaw County, under the umbrella of service that the geographic umbrella of service that CAC represents, the percentage of individuals with some college is higher than the average in other places throughout the state?
Throughout the state.
That means that if there is an entity, a company that's looking for a workforce that has potential to fulfill any kind of workforce, any kind of job with training and the development application, that Saginaw County has a workforce that's ready to work.
They do.
And ready to learn.
And ready to learn.
And ready to grow.
Absolutely.
With the history of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Say that slow. 23%.
23% of our population in Saginaw County has some form of college. That means they have enrolled in college, have taken some classes, but unfortunately, for some reason, they did not finish. And that statistic of people is higher than any other place in the county. It's higher than the state's average, and it's higher than the national average just here in our county.
So if you match that number with the number of jobs, shouldn't there be enough? Shouldn't there be people working? I mean, shouldn't everybody be working?
It should be working, and they should be having an opportunity for livable wages. But that raises another question. When we get to the end of the study, we have to think about this, because the statistics in terms of race by race and household income, they show that African Americans make the lowest. Hispanics are right above them, and then you have whites who make a little bit higher. I mean, a little bit lower than Asians, who make the most in our county. So basically, if we tear out all of our income by races, there could possibly be There could possibly be some disparities there by jobs and income and possibilities for livable wages by race.
So it doesn't mean that people don't want to work.
True.
It just means that the jobs that they're able to get, is there a disconnect between the job availability and the workforce?
I think that there is a disconnect between the job availability and the workforce. I think we need to have a real conversation about what's available and about the opportunities that exist so that everybody can have a chance. Everybody can have a chance to have a leg up because the opportunities are there. The governor has passed legislation that is still good throughout her term so that people can go to college for free and finish. The other things that people need are areas that other barriers can pick up. And if we are human, if we are decent, if we are about trying to see progress, then we would be trying to be about the needs of getting people through college, through skilled trades, into a place where they can have the desirable livable wages.
That's powerful. Is CAC an entity that can help to make that happen?
Absolutely. We are a community hub. We are the place within all of it where we can provide wraparound services. We can provide counseling, case management. We can be the referral that people need. We are a place where people come to. And so if we can help a person or a family to get from point A to point B, that's what we're here to do.
So you're representing a conduit, a place where the people can connect with opportunities and where opportunities can connect with the people. You're kind of in between the the economic world, the academic world, and the people that need to access both of those.
For sure. And just back in 2025 alone, there were 3 job fairs that were held at CAC. And of course, we partnered with other community-based organizations such as Higher Purpose, who facilitated and worked with the other sites, but we were right there in the spot where our place was used because people trust us. People trust our facility, they trust our work. And so we are in the middle of all of this work to try to bring jobs. And Saginaw Public Schools came, Covenant came. We have other entities that are ready to bring their opportunities to the space. People have to be ready to get those jobs.
So if people hear about a job fair at CAC, they ought to show up. They ought
Yeah,
to come bring their resume, come ready, come to get a job, because agencies and organizations are coming to the job fair at CAC with employment opportunities
in their hand, ready to give out a
I
job.
remember there was another thing that I was there at, I saw happen at CAC, where people were getting their licenses,
Hmm.
their records expunged, and license so that they could
Yeah,
drive, so they
yeah.
could. Is CAC still involved in those kind of
And
things
so
as well?
we love partnering with those types of events, and shout out to Representative Amos O'Neill for spearheading that opportunity. Those come, and those types of events, they circulate throughout the county, and CAC is usually called upon to provide any type of service or assistance, even if it means using our space. I know Pastor Kareem Bowen with help was facilitating one of those expungement clinics, and so a lot of our community-based organizations work together with our local and elected officials such as Representative O'Neill to move those along, because that is one of his priorities while he's serving.
What I want to do through this program is encourage all agencies, Saginaw African American pastors. We're going to put it on our agenda to find a way to not only help and support CAC in this fundraising effort, but also to engage, because we can bring our congregants there. And I want to encourage all the other agencies, Divine Nine, the other church agencies, the other nonprofit agencies, whatever you got going. What let's partner with this historic institution in our community, Saginaw County CAC, which is in its 61st year of consistent operation in this community. Some of the great leaders that we've experienced down through history have been a part of CAC, and even my father, your grandfather,
Hmm.
was part of the organizing committee in the community that helped to facilitate the creation of CAC
Yeah,
back in the day, when it would start with Al Lovelace and Bob Vieira and
yeah,
Father Omo Ali, one of the fathers of our
yeah,
community,
Chief. Yeah.
and it just goes on. We're having a great conversation, ladies and gentlemen, with the executive director of CAC. If you're an entity that wants to know what really is going on in our community, contact CAC. This needs assessment survey, this needs assessment, is available to the people, right? How do they get it?
So you can access the needs assessment. It's live on our website. You can go to www.saginawcac.org. You can go to www.saginawcac.org and look at the About Us page, and you'll find the community needs assessment. Both the 2022 needs assessment and the 2025 needs assessment are both live.
Or else they could call your office.
Absolutely. You can call our office at 989-753-7741, and someone from our staff will be more than happy to provide information. As a matter of fact, there's information right at the agency right now about all top 5 needs, and you can take that home with you.
This next statement is going to be very personal and very selfish. I am so proud to be sitting here with you, interviewing you. Thanks, as your father. Your mother and I are just excited watching you and your sisters in the work that you all are doing and how you're providing leadership. And our church is proud of you. Our extended family is proud of you. And we're excited to be able to hear you talk about what it is that you believe God put you in this place to do this.
I do. And to seal that, they say that you don't find community action. I hear this all across the country. They say that you don't find community action, but community action finds you. And I have to pair that with destiny and with purpose. And I just believe that God placed me in this moment for this time to do what I'm doing. And I submit to his will, not only for my life, but also to submit his will to the agency that he can have control of what we do.
So in this phase of your life, in this position, the role that you're in right now, it's more than a job. It's a mission and a purpose.
Yeah, it's a mission.
Because I know some of the people that you work with, I come in contact with them and they tell me, oh, I just saw your son, and some of the great people in the neighborhood groups that you work with, they are really excited about having someone. I've watched the changes in the agency, and I just wish you the best. We're praying for you, and we're supporting the Saginaw African American Pastors Transforming Lives Through Faith program that comes on every Sunday. Is designed to expose things in our community that will help our community and to help us engage. So today we're talking to the executive director of Saginaw CAC in its historic 61st year of operation. Anything you want to say finally to close out?
I want to say thank you. Thank you to Bishop for your leadership. You are a staple and a landmark in this city, in this region, in this state, in this country. And many people don't know the jewel that resides in this country and in this city, and we're thankful for you. And to those who have dedicated time over the 60 years, I honor them. I sit on the shoulders and stand on those shoulders of every great leader that has come before me, and I'm thankful and honored to even serve on behalf of Miss Mary McMath, who's dedicated 40 years of service to the agency, and she's still going strong and still making change. And to people like that and our executive directors who have served in the position that I am, I honor them as well. So if y'all could just get with us and help us out and help us to continue to build for the future.
Well, that's it. Again, I agree with you that we're celebrating the life of one of the great community servants and community activists, Naisha Clark Young, who has transitioned in to be with the ancestors now. She's gone on to meet her eternal reward, but we were going to miss her. And for those of you who are involved in Saginaw African American pastors, please pray for your pastor. Please keep them in your prayer. Keep the churches in the important facility of the faith community. Keep us lifted up as we do the work that God has given to us, transforming lives through faith. And then come back and meet us again next Sunday at this same time. We will have different individuals, but I know that this is the way that we communicate with you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Share this with somebody, and let's get ready to do our help CAC celebrate this year and do great things, because we know what needs to be worked on. Thank you so much. God bless you, and God keep you.
You've been listening to the Voices of Faith Transforming the Community with the Saginaw African American Pastors on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on this show by the host, its guests, or call-ins do not necessarily represent the opinion of this station, the staff, its owners, connoisseur media, or its advertisers.